New poll proves that this one woke word is killing the left's chances with Hispanics. There's some debate as to the proper term we should use for Americans of Latin American descent. Hispanic, Latino, or perhaps something else. The woke left has gone all in on the gender-neutral term Latinx. But it seems like they forgot to ask a key constituency before they adopted the term, actual Latinx people. A new poll of Hispanics from Politico has some dire results for the woke. Only 2% of respondents said the term Latinx describes them. But it gets worse. 40% of respondents said the term Latinx actually offends them, and 30% said they would be less likely to vote for a candidate or party who uses the term. Virginia Republican Attorney General-elect Jason Meyers, the first Hispanic to hold that office in Virginia, weighed in on the electoral effects. By insisting on using the incorrect term Latinx, progressives are engaging in a type of cultural Marxism, a recast of societal norms. Latinos don't use the term, only upper-educated white liberals who hardly interact with the Latino community. I believe that every time they use the term Latinx, they lose another Latino vote. Will Democrats learn their lesson and stop trying to make Latinx happen? Only time will tell. Is Biden's vaccine mandate totally dead? Here's the latest. The Biden administration is facing another major blow to their vaccine mandates. Just weeks ago, the Fifth Circuit temporarily halted the OSHA rule that applied to private businesses with over 100 employees. Now, the executive order that demanded federal contractors and federal employees be vaccinated by January will be paused as well. The legal challenges are coming from states who say the president overstepped his authority in requiring the COVID-19 shots for Americans to continue to work. The executive order pause will affect roughly a quarter of the U.S. workforce and includes businesses crucial to national security. This is great news for companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and countless others whose internal reports have suggested they would not have the employees required to fulfill their federal contracts if the Biden mandates were enforced. Many federal employees and contractors are breathing easier knowing they won't lose their jobs immediately following the new year, thanks to the hard work of legal teams in Arizona, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, and Georgia. The temporary block of the mandate applies nationwide.
Inspiring, Biden's Olympic boycott has started a new trend of weakness. Earlier this week, the White House confirmed that the U.S. will be boycotting the upcoming Winter Olympics in Beijing to protest human rights abuses of the Chinese Communist Party. As the press secretary confirmed, the United States will not be sending diplomats or United States representatives. But is that really even a boycott?
The Biden administration will not send any diplomatic or official representation to the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics and Paralympic Games, given the PRC's ongoing genocide and crimes against humanity in Xinjiang and other human rights abuses. The athletes on Team USA have our full support. We will be behind them 100% as we cheer them on from home. We will not be contributing to the fanfare of the Games. U.S. diplomatic or official representation would treat these games as business as usual in the face of the PRC's egregious human rights abuses and atrocities in Xinjiang.
The move was immediately criticized by conservatives who found the diplomatic boycott to be weak and meaningless since our athletes were still participating in all of the events hosted by Beijing. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo tweeted, "A diplomatic boycott of the Olympics is not enough. The CCP doesn't give a rip about a diplomatic boycott because at the end of the day, they are still hosting the world's athletes." Joe Biden needs to stand up to the CCP. Shortly after this, China responded to Biden's boycott too, by basically laughing in his face. A spokesman for China's foreign ministry said, after the announcement that the U.S. is only flattering itself by claiming it is boycotting the Games, and strongly indicated that China hadn't invited United States officials to attend in the first place. Perhaps that's the kind of response to expect from a communist regime with zero commitment to the truth. The half-hearted action from Biden seems to have inspired other world leaders to take a similarly weak stance against the Chinese Communist Party. Australia and Canada have both announced that their leaders will not be attending the Winter Games either. Trudeau made an impassioned speech about Chinese human rights violations on Wednesday morning.
Will the COVID booster shots ever end? The Biden administration has repeatedly encouraged Americans to receive a COVID booster shot. According to Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla, another booster shot could be necessary down the road. Burla believes the fourth shot would likely be necessary 1 year after a person received their third vaccine. But this brings about a bigger question. Will we have to have a COVID booster shot every few months? Or will it become a yearly vaccine, similar to the flu shot?
Albert, it's really great to see you, and this news, I think, welcomed by a lot of folks. Does this mean that 3 doses of your vaccine should potentially be enough to restore at least the antibody levels against Omicron, and maybe mean we won't need to update the vaccine here?
Yes, what we saw in this study that we did, and this is the first of many that will follow, it is that 3 doses of our vaccine against Omicron basically is equivalent to 2 doses of our vaccine with the original strain. So, and as you remember, the original strain, these antibody levels were translated to very, very high efficacy of 95%. So these are good news. On the 2 doses, the reduction was significant. But the third dose restored those titers very, very high.